What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TNC Reacts. Today is Tuesday Thoughts, and I'm really going to be talking about how I believe that women are actually bullies. Now, the reason I'm actually talking about this is because over my entire life, we're talking about a good amount of time, I have seen television, movies, music, and now the internet, whichever social media device you want to use. There are just women consistently berating men everywhere. And I think at this point in time, it has become pretty exhausting for most men, because I have seen countless videos of men are sassy, men are this, men are that, I'd rather choose the bear, I'd rather do this, I'd rather, men suck. And you could just make an entire compilation that would probably stretch more than 48 hours of just women bashing men. And they wouldn't even be long excerpts, they would just be multiple women over time that would stretch 48 hours straight of just women bashing men. And you're starting to see men getting tired of it. They're starting to back away. Even through all the insults, they're just getting tired of it. There are women that openly say, I make content this way because I hate men. There's no such thing as a good man. And I'm sorry, maybe your uncles, your friends, your cousins, whoever violated you does not speak for the entirety of men. If you actually ask men, a lot of men detest that type of behavior. And if they were ever able to catch it, they would stomp these people's mouths out. But there is just this agenda and this constant push of man hate. And people can say what they want. They can say maybe it's the algorithm that I'm trapped under. But it's not just the algorithm. I mean, we're talking about television shows like The View and all the panels where all these women are just sitting together talking. When they get to speaking about men, it's some of the most horrendous stuff. Because if men would speak in that same manner, their shows would be canceled. But the reason that women are able to do that is because men are just open punching bags that they can get away with doing that to. But now because men are backing off, men don't want to be foodie dates. Men don't want to be ridiculed for approaching a woman. Men don't want to be ridiculed for making decisions in life that really is just a minute step. They're just like, what's the point? A lot of times we'll see this over and over in men being falsely accused. Women are so ready to believe that a man is a villain that they'll never take the consideration that maybe the chick is just lying. I'm telling you, there has been so many times that you've seen women lie about things. You would be surprised at how many people still believe women just off the back. And then the man has to do 100 times more work to prove his innocence. And then when he's proven innocent, do you think anybody comes out and says, hey, my bad, I'm sorry about that, we were wrong, we really apologize for just coming at you, treating you like a horrible person? No, it's very rare that you see it. And that's another bully tactic. I beat you, I berate you, I treat you like trash, but then never once acknowledge that, hey, I caused you a lot of problems and strife. You have these people that'll make a whole dissertation off of a 20-second video and think that that is the entirety of the video instead of actually doing their research. There's a guy named Andrew that just recently had to clear his name because people were thinking that he said that S-ing women is okay, which was something that he never did. He was actually trying to catch a guy in a lie and show that the way the dude communicated was false, and it was a way of trying to maneuver and snake his way out of things. So when he was asking him the question, the dude realized what he was doing, so he flipped it and clickbaited it so he could get views and make this other guy look bad, which was Andrew. And the guy had to come out and clear his name to show the entirety of a 20-second clip that ended up being 4 minutes. Actually showed the whole thing, and I guarantee you no one's come out in droves to apologize like they did to berate him. But it's easy to punch down on men. It's very easy to do it. You can just do it because there's no actual repercussions for it. And it's starting to get to a point where you can see men getting tired of it. And you have to look at life and situations like a pendulum swing. If you're able to swing it all the way this way and it goes to the extreme, eventually it's going to swing back to the other way. And when it swings back that other way, it's going to get bad. And instead of being middle ground about situations, actually being realistic, like, trust me, not all men are bad. Actually, there's more good men than bad, because if majority of men were bad, you'd really have some horrible situations going on, and men would just be sitting back like, it ain't me though, you know what I'm saying? And that's not really the case, because like if you look at the Diddy situation, everybody's like, well, we knew Diddy was guilty. Now you have the split of the road where people are like, oh, well, Cassie was with it, so that means that she should be equally guilty, where you got the other side is like, no, look at the actual facts. You know, there were plenty of times she said no, and some of that sounds like coercion. So, you know, you got to weed through all of it. But in its totality, men are being bullied constantly. From everywhere I look at it, and the amount of time that I've been living, I've been seeing just mountainous times of just bully. And you get these shows that come out, like the one overseas where the 13-year-old boys are quoting the red pill stuff. Then they're like, oh, it's the red pill. The red pill is the problem. Not acknowledging that these women were bullying these young men and calling them all of these names and, you know, stuff like that. Oh, he's an incel. You're 13. Of course you're going to be an incel. You're not even, first off, you shouldn't even be looking for booty right now. You're 13. You should be focusing on school, learning who you are, you know, things like that, growing up the right way instead of being like, oh, I got to be sexually driven. But because you have these people berating them, they're just supposed to take that. Oh, well, it's just verbal. That's how women do their bullying. Verbal, mental, emotionally. That's how they get at men. Because they can't physically fight them. Because if they did, it'd be a whole different ballgame, because then they'd have to deal with jail time. Because then you start seeing, oh, there's an actual problem. Women are putting their hands on men a lot. We got to start addressing these laws and starting to protect men. So instead of doing that, women verbally berate men. You know, a man speaks up for himself. Ooh, that sounds sassy. What? So I stand up for myself, now I'm sassy. I mean, there's just so many tactics and verbiages that are used to shut men up. So now men aren't talking. Men are just like, all right, cool, bet. Oh, you got the villain over there messing with you? Sorry, I'm not involved in that. You know what I mean? Hell, you know, you got people that have saved women's lives before and then get sued. And I'm sorry, one bad apple can spoil the bunch. And that's a sad thing, but you're starting to see, if you really did your research and look at outside of bullying, why men really are backing off and not doing what they used to, it's simply reasons of that, because you're starting to see the negative and bad behaviors of adult women using it against men on a daily basis. And you'll see now that men learn from the mistakes of others. They don't have to go through it to learn it. They can be like, nope, I saw that, I'm good, I don't even want to deal with that. Just for the potentiality of my life turning to that, where I got to deal with being sued, jail time, all of that, I'd rather not do nothing. And that's just the reality. But let me know what y'all think down in the comment section, and be on the lookout for more videos. All right, everybody, peace.